A long one or a short one?
A short one.
You can. I don't. Someone said like rest for an hour. You can have a short one, but you can also just settle in for the long rest.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't trust them, no. Like, we don't know why they hate Delarian other than the fact that they're racist.
Do you want to keep guard as usual?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
I'd like to sleep, please. Well, I'd like
Oh
to
yeah,
try.
except for Draco. Draco can sleep because he.
I mean, all of us are
Rebecca,
gonna
can
sleep.
I have some night terrors,
Kind of.
please? Thanks.
Oh, I was gonna check on you anyway, so that's fucking.
Are you actually asking me for my night terrors, or?
I mean, not seriously.
Because I'll give you
No.
night terrors.
I
Do it.
cannot stop you. But
Do it.
I'm
It'll
not
be
asking
good
for
role play opportunity.
Hang on, let me shut my door in case I need to scream.
Do it. It'll be a good role play opportunity. We promise to keep it short.
I'm back.
Well, you don't have night terrors,
Oh, phew.
but you see Robert,
Oh no.
and you see him fall down into the flames. And just as he vanishes in the flames, his face is suddenly Melody's.
Oh.
And then you wake up as light streams into your tent. Someone opens the flap.
Flap, flap, flap.
Thanks, Alan.
High quality comments by me.
A guard stands in the opening to the tent, sort of just motioning for you guys to follow.
For fuck's sake.
What?
Aspen is gone.
Oh, I bet the dog pissed.
On the laptop.
On her internet connection.
It is a strong possibility. How much piss is there, Aspen? Like a gallon?
It won't let me join again.
Like a shocking amount for the size of dog?
Join through Steam.
More piss than dog.
Just a second dog.
In the shape of a second dog. Quite the artist.
What a beautiful stain.
Bastards fucking better not be ignoring me. Asshole.
Can you not hear us? Hello?
Hello. Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi! We can hear you now, Aspen.
How you know? Fuckers.
Did the dog piss?
That's not nice.
You never
Same.
answered the question, Aspen.
No, the dog. No, the dog did not piss on my computer.
Did you?
I said no. I'm gonna. I swear to God.
What's wrong?
Is your internet just acting up?
Hold on. US East. Okay, everyone back?
Hello?
I'm back.
Hello, hello.
Hello?
Hello,
Having
hello.
problems.
Aspen.
Yeah, you're just extremely robotic.
Hey, no, you're a
You're an
rockstar.
all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Hey now. Rockstar. Can't lay. And all that glitters gold.
Only
Only
shooting
star.
stars break the wall.
It's a new. It's getting cool.
She can hear us, I think.
Yes!
Hold up.
She told us to stop. That means she can hear us. With the medium impact to differ. Quick, keep singing. It's the antidote to poor internet.
Fuck off. I will actually end my life.
Don't do that.
You have a puppy now. You can't.
Yeah.
Literally can't.
Well,
Watch me.
don't, please. I asked nicely, so now you can't.
What are you gonna do about it, weather boy?
Cry.
Tell
What
your
would you
puppy.
like to know?
I will steal your puppy. If
Oh
you
shit,
don't.
that's a
And
threat.
I will call it Varian.
Oh my god, no, call it anti-disestablishmentarianism.
No. Do not.
No, it failed.
It's really difficult to tell what Aspen's telling me to do.
I feel like Aspen has really bad internet right now.
Yeah. Only right now, though. Just some heavy breathing. Great.
Heavy breathing intensifies.
I'm going to
Man.
kill someone.
Me.
That was clear.
But in a safe and controlled fashion.
It's working.
Well,
How
we
is
can
that
hear you,
sound?
but I think you lose connection when you try to start up tabletop or something.
Grr.
Can we hear heated?
Angry.
Can we hear heated?
Yeah, we can.
So we cannot blame
Hey,
America.
Heated, say something really dumb.
That's good enough.
I
Thanks.
don't understand the question.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, we cannot blame America.
Well, we
I
can
mean-
always blame
Can.
That
America.
was
You
really
can.
dumb.
Yeah, we can, but
We shouldn't.
yeah.
But when has that stopped us before?
Should I
There are enough
say-
other reasons to blame America. We don't have to use this one.
Should I screen share Aspen?
I mean, right now it's not very important that you're in the game.
Wow.
Yeah, Heated can
No.
just act like a conduit for Aspen. Since
Ruin
Melody
says
isn't it?
that
Maybe
they will
Melody
give
is actually
us
turned
other
up in this
gold.
place and they're worshipping her like a god.
Oh
Can-
my gosh, that's a brilliant idea.
What? Aspen?
That fucking arrived
No,
like 10
not
seconds later.
not that idea. That you just gave me an idea.
Oh, fuck.
Your idea was dumb.
That's
My
horrific.
idea is good.
Aspen, stop bullying me when you can't speak properly.
She sounds kind of like Robert right now.
Exactly.
Robert's
Although,
back.
to be fair, she can't speak properly usually.
I heard
Robert's
that, you
back.
asshole.
There we go. You can tell me I'm wrong,
Fuck.
please. No, madam. Fuck you. Wait, fuck you.
Good thing I don't monetize videos on YouTube.
Excuse me?
Oh,
Is this better?
Yeah, it is. It's much better.
Why the fuck do you sound French, you asshole?
Oh, wait.
Whatever you did made us
Stop.
French.
Fuck
Stop.
yourself.
Stop.
What George sounds like.
Stop.
It is time.
Stop.
Wee
I
wee.
think literally it's just broken.
What?
What's broken?
It's fucking tabletop sim on my computer.
I do.
You're
You
loading.
poor baby.
There you are.
It keeps, oh, I'm here now, but it keeps telling me that my username's in use. Like, no shit, I'm the one using it.
So Freya, tell me, how does it feel when you're not the one having the problems?
Yeah, isn't it like
Well,
not being the problem?
must be. It's amazing, right? It's
Mhm.
like you don't
liberating.
even
What
have
happened to the
the.
table?
You don't even want to help, really. You just
got
kind of
rid
want
of
to watch them struggle for a while.
What happened
Just
to the table?
struggle for a while. you
Aspen,
know?
it's still there.
Where did everyone go?
We're here.
Yeah, I know how you feel, Aspen. This is how I felt every time for a year.
Yeah, except my computer
longer.
doesn't work like dick.
Well, it does right now.
Well, okay,
No.
there's no need to take it out on Freya.
This isn't taking it out on Freya. This is me complaining that my computer works like a pineapple.
Well, you don't really have to be on tabletop right now. Like
Yeah, we're not currently being
we're
attacked
not
I
finding
am in
you.
tabletop.
Well,
About
anyway.
that.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, a elven guard has opened your tent flap.
Flap flap.
I held back this time.
I'm just gonna look at him suspiciously.
I stand up and go outside.
Oh,
Do the rest follow?
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna keep a very close eye on Draco, though.
Draco's crying again.
Oh, give him a little comforting pat on the back, but I'm also keeping my eye mainly on like the guards to make sure they don't try anything with specifically Draco or Delarian.
The guard leads you through the campsite towards a very large tent, ringed by guards. Wordlessly, as he approaches, they step aside, and the guard moves off to the side and
A motorbike goes past. No.
holds open his arm as if to beckon you inside.
For a hug. Oh.
Please hug him. No, I'll go inside. I'll go in with him and have Draco right next to me.
Inside, sitting at a larger table, sits the commander from yesterday, as well as an older-looking elf. On the way, give me a perception roll,
Everyone?
Who?
everyone.
Oh boy.
No! You ruined my 17!
I made us both roll a 9.
You asshole!
It's okay, I got a 17.
Wait, I'm not done. I gotta. I need my calculator.
Bye,
Don't touch
Ruby.
me.
What are the numbers? I'll tell you.
9 and 5.
It's 14.
I got a 14.
I got a
Wait,
6.
wait, 5 comes after.
5 comes after 4.
Okay, thank you. Listen, no, it's not funny. Sometimes I forget the orders of numbers, okay?
That's
It's
been
not funny. It's not
You should
Draco.
probably make sure you know that.
Well,
You have keen minds, Draco.
Agreed.
And from the light around you, you'd say it's early dawn. But it felt like you've slept longer than that. And as you look into the sky, you see the reason to that. The sun is there. It's almost noon. But the sun is a deep blood red. It barely gives off any light comparable to the sun you're used to, making it seem like it's simply dawn. Everything sort of bathed in a slight reddish hue. And then you step inside the tent.
That means there could be blood everywhere. We wouldn't know.
It's an
Sure.
interesting thought.
that's how it works.
There's a
Inside,
music video
at
that proves
the large table, the commander beckons you to take a seat yourselves.
I'll sit down, I guess.
Yeah, me too.
Specifically, Draco. On the side of me, furthest from the captain.
The
Not that
captain
I'm
speaks
furthest from
up
him,
in
further
common.
side.
Forgive my aggressive welcome. You are, of course, welcome in the Oaklands. Even Kalashtar, despite what happened between our people. A question directly at you then. You have deserted? Your kind given up on madness?
Does Delirium know what he's talking about?
You have no earthly clue.
I have to
How's it
admit,
going?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you say this in common or in Elvish?
In Elvish, I try to be cautious. Courteous? How do you pronounce that word?
Courteous.
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 I try to be courteous and try and speak Elvish.
The older elf further in the back of the tent stirs as you say that. And he moves a little closer, speaking in a near perfect common. You haven't felt it at all? Where exactly did you come from?
I come from the material plane.
And nothing happened on the material plane?
Well, we've lost the connection to the Feywild and all the other, what were they called? Those magic, the ley lines.
What about the sun? What about your son?
It still shines
It's
normally.
still as normal.
He strokes his beard at the mention of that. If I may, the spirit you're bound to, may I see, may I touch you? And he holds out his hand towards your chest.
I just let it happen.
His hand gives off a faint light as he presses it on your chest. Immediately, warmth flows through you, into your blood, and every pump of your heart spreads it through your body. You are suddenly and painfully aware of the spirit inside you. Like someone unrolled the bandages, laying your bond open. And you feel your spirit stronger than you have before. Warm, bright, and still a little hurt. You feel your spirit recoil, like a scared animal in its burrow as someone shines a bright light in it. And then the light recedes, and the old elf drops his hand from your chest. But he doesn't open his eyes for a few moments. And when he does, he looks slightly sad. Haven't felt such warmth in a while, like the shine of our sun. He lets himself drop onto the nearest chair, and he looks you up and down, studying you. I used to be a spirit mender, and as such I was close to your kind, Kalashta, those of you here in the Feywild. Thank you. I now know the old days are not completely lost. Captain, Kalashta is to be protected by right of the root of law. I'll send a rider to Varna if necessary. The captain immediately holds up his hands. I trust you on your judgment, he responds in Elven. We need not trouble a messenger.
Could you please...
To Telsa, you know that the root of law is one of the main governing bodies in the Feywild, at least among the Elvish population. There are 3 roots: the root of law, the root of perseverance, and the root of ardor that sort of rule as a triumvirate. You were
What
saying?
happened? How long has it been like this?
I suppose you deserve to know what has happened to your kind, and you too, Kalashtar.
Dularan just nods.
This was about 83 cycles ago, just after the disjunction of the planes. Our ley lines lay shattered and broken. The Uniwa, in their wisdom, rallied the wild. With great effort, they mended the broken ley lines. Instead of an open web, they closed the routes of energy to stop the ley from endlessly bleeding out of the Feywild. We feared that if they hadn't, all would have become ash around us. But even then, magic, surviving, fighting, working, all of the things we needed, and our ley lines lay barren. The lifeblood of the earth with no replenishing source, save for our sun. We didn't know then that the worst days were yet to come. It was just 27 cycles ago. We lost our sun. One night, it just didn't become day. When we woke, the sun had turned red, as if drenched in blood. Panic broke out almost immediately. Without the sun, we'd be doomed to slowly wilting, not to be leftovers but dust. With the entire plane around us, all would be nothing. The roots were even considering fleeing into the Shadowfell. Their fears, of course, were for naught. The red sun still radiated energy, though little. But we'd not realized yet what other change the sun had brought. You must understand, all of us were afraid, worried. There's not been a celestial event like this. Plenty gave in to the belief that we were doomed. Others gave in to blame and infighting. But none were worse off than your kind, Kalashtar. We'd not seen any of the Kalashtar tribes for 3 cycles after the sundown. After the roots established some measure of order, a few spirit menders and I sent scouts out to find them. We don't know at all what happened. We can explain it as little as the sun. It was like their spirits were replaced by something much darker. Or perhaps they just grew to be that way. I know not which is worse. The Kalashtar descended upon us like a horde of demons. A single one would cut down entire swathes of soldiers, some of our best. And they did more than kill them, they pulled all life from them, turning those who fell to ash. For 10 painful cycles, we sacrificed lives, just to push them to the edge of the Shadowfell. And with their numbers dwindled, we were confident we could hold them there. And then, not so long ago, another fiend appeared, seemingly in league with the Kalashtar. One or the other would have been enough to deal with, but together they've caused untold destruction to the Feywild. They preach and scream about their gods of light and fire as they set the Feywild ablaze with infernos. I can't help but think they, too, have something to do with what happened to our sun. Our menders and the remaining water dryads are doing the best they can to douse the flames, but they too are suffering. There's no connection to the plane of water. We've had a skirmish closely here a few days ago, hence you're welcome. You're not our prisoners, the captain responds. But you must understand, we will set forth back towards the Tana fort soon. You accompany us. There is safety there, and I wager the root of Arda would want to speak to you.
We have to get back to our own plane as soon as possible.
He shoots a sideways glance towards the older elf, who then responds, "We felt your arrival. But what we felt ebbed off before we saw you emerge from the cave. The ley lines that are broken, well, even if they are patched, they have holes. I know not what happened on your side, but whatever it was, it sent you through. Unless we can replicate it here, we have no way of returning you."
What about the great houses? Are they still in place?
The great houses have largely survived. The structure is much as it was before the disjunction, except everyone is even less trustful of one another.
Who is this new fiend you were talking about?
He shrugs. We simply don't know.
So what you're
They
saying is
burn with fire and they seemingly command infernos at will.
you're saying that there's potentially no way back. We might be stuck here because that can't happen.
He strokes his beard for a little while.
I'll say Rune looks kind of panicked.
I suppose the Universe might know more. But if they did, we would have had someone establish connection with the other planes.
Please, I'll do anything to get back.
We could petition an audience with Varna, the root of law. Sure, there must be some way. Perhaps with your insight of how you got here in the first place.
We'll
Do you
do
know how-
anything to work with you.
Yeah. Do you know anything about corruption ley lines?
Ley lines.
Corrupting them specifically. They turn, I don't know if they were originally, but a rainbow color. It's like beautiful fire that consumes everything it touches.
That sounds like the very essence of magic itself.
Helpful. Something's wrong with the ley lines in our world. It's part of what I think. Actually, I don't fucking know what sent us here. All I know is we were running from the ground collapse, and then there was that rainbow light coming up through it. And if that's what we need to recreate and destroy your world to get us back.
Those are disconcerting words. I suppose with no Mendas, the material plane Hmm. If it takes raw magical energy, that would be so simple. Must be something else. How long has the material plane been like this?
33 years about, I think.
It's been getting worse.
That's why we're
lately.
down here.
It is
Maybe-
this bad, and it has only been 30 years.
How long has it been here?
Well, when the spheres disjunctioned, I'm not sure if that was the same for you.
We're talking about the fallout from the Godstone, right?
Is that what it was?
Assumedly.
You know Dural, right?
Ah, we know of Dural. New, I suppose. Is he still wreaking havoc over your world?
No. Well,
And you
not in
stopped
person.
him?
Not us personally.
Someone stopped him. Yeah.
Suppose that apparently some of his something left over from him might still be causing problems, and that's why we were exploring where we were to see our world's been getting worse since the event.
And your kingdoms, what about them? Is the Alliance still alive? Do they still hold?
You really are out of touch, aren't you?
Hmm.
Ever shifting.
For about
Alliances.
83 cycles, we've been out of touch.
83.
Nothing in or out save the Shadowfell.
Well, I can't wait 83 cycles to get home.
If what you say is true and the material plane grows more unstable, I do not think we have another 83 cycles.
What do you know what could be causing it to get? Well, we know that magic is stagnating. The ley lines are getting sick. Or that's what some of us that know more think. We're just gonna lightly elbow Draco. Is that right, Draco?
Well, the ley lines flow through the planes. The material world is disjuncted, and your son is okay. It's simply a matter of too much magic. Like adding water to a pot until it is full. It'll boil over.
If magic is flowing into the material plane, can we write it back? Somehow.
Perhaps. It's a thought worth thinking.
Well,
I guess
even-
then we should talk to people
How-
here who are more knowledgeable about this kind of stuff.
You mentioned a root or a council or something. Some governmental body sounding word.
The root of Arda protects the Oaklands. He's one of Karis Petraera's own.
How long will that potentially take?
The Tana fort is about 3 days from here. But the root of Ada is not there. Only his sister. But from there, we could send messengers.
To get
And it
an
would be safety. We are still on the border.
Is it a safe journey?
Doesn't matter.
Nothing is safe these days. Especially not in the Feywild.
I know it's impolite to ask when you're already trying to help us, but assumedly, how long will it be until we can potentially get an audience?
To be honest, I have no idea.
I'll say at this point we're
As
probably
a
like,
spirit mender, we've had our dealings with the root of law, but in matters of security, and he sort of shoots a glance at the captain, who also shrugs his shoulders. Never had to petition the root of Ada.
okay. I'll say at this point we're like fidgeting around in their seat, looking really, really anxious and growingly upset with the news.
Pray tell, what urges you to such haste?
I have people back home I have to get to, people who can't, who I promised I wouldn't leave for forever, for too long of a time. Do you have family, Captain? Healer?
Aye.
Do you have
Some
children?
back at the Tanaford. Mostly cousins.
Do either of you have children?
Aye.
How would you feel if you were trapped away from them?
You need not make me see your point. I see it clearly. That does not help us find a faster solution.
No, but it might excuse some erratic nerves. I know not your customs, so I'd rather gain sympathy before I accidentally overstep anything. Speaking of, are there customs we should be aware of if we're going to be here?
Customs, let's see. What I remember from your kind. It is important to respect your elders here. Title is addressed first.
Yeah. Just kiss their asses. I think would be good.
Never really been good at that one.
Ah, yes. The people on the material plane like to hug and shake hands a lot.
No, never do that here. Don't like to be touched by inferior
lonely.
people.
Inferior.
Usual only amongst
Wow.
family or the like.
Even then.
Kalsa, let's not aggravate the.
All of a sudden,
Just try.
spontaneous racist Telsa.
All right, so address titles, don't touch people. Is talking okay?
Respectfully.
Valerian looks at Telsa.
How's your views on honesty?
As a soldier, I would say honesty is important.
Not if it upsets people.
Yeah, is there a thing is too honest amongst your people?
Is there not a thing like that amongst every people?
Rune just kind of gives him a grin, like, ha ha ha, that's funny. Like that kind of a grin.
He looks confused.
It's I've been discovering that, I thought, everyone was just brutally honest with each other everywhere, but it seems I've stepped on toes and hurt feelings.
Is
So
brutal honesty the new way in the material plane?
I'm from a very special part of the material plane. Let's just say I'm not the norm.
Ah. I had wondered what change had beset the material plane.
Well, I'm technically not. It's complicated. I've met some people from this place there. I don't think a lot of others have. Do your people have a certain view on face changes?
Changelings, shape changes, Dopplers?
Rune does not look like they recognize many of the official words. But, people who can change the way they look.
Socially, a lot of things in the Feywild change their looks. Such as the Feywild itself, I suppose. Militarily, we have had problems with infiltrators.
I'm afraid you're speaking too complicated. I don't understand the acceptance level of this sort of a thing.
You speak Sylvan, yes?
I.
And then in Sylvan, he answers, there is no particular prejudice against changelings, shapeshifters. The very nature of the Feywild is to shift.
Ah.
But when we and your Dural had our differences, we've had infiltrators from the material plane, often shapeshifters, for obvious reasons.
I was about to say, Rune's look kind of darkens at the your draw. Trust me, we hate Dural as much as everyone else, if not more.
I understand.
It
was your people who first approached us for their last stand. I suppose in a way it worked the way most great human acts worked, by shattering most of the things around them.
You're not wrong there. Most people are.
Drolarian also just nods in agreement.
It's just Delsa and Rune laugh.
Well, I think she's laughing.
Are we back? What language are we in now?
Right now it's Sylvan.
Oh yeah, then he does not because he doesn't understand.
At this point, I guess Rune will just kind of give a little chuckle, nod. Like that, like they agree with that.
Other than the elves that just shut themselves away.
Telsa.
What?
Maybe now's not the time.
Just shrugs.
What she says is not in particular wrong. It was decided we not interfere. And thus the conjunction happened, the disjunction. So perhaps, had we taken action. However, you speak as if you were in the Feywild just before the disjunction.
Huh.
Were you born here? How
No.
did you... Were you one of the few that left?
I guess.
And then how did it work out for you?
Pretty good so far. Till it brought me back here.
Well, in any case, while we are underway towards the fort, perhaps you could provide a detailed account of all that happened in the material plane. Help us understand how the whole thing could have happened in the hover space.
Sure, we can give you all the information we have.
Starting at the conjunction or directly after it or before it.
Well, we know not even what caused it. I suppose it was your war, or whatever happened when you stopped the row.
Yeah. That must have finished. After that, portals were closed.
Portals were destroyed. Half the Earth was pulled into the crater. Kidding me. Portals
Yeah.
were closed. Just too nice of a way to say it.
Half the what was what?
Our land was left scarred, defaced. From my understanding, first of all, a lot just went down, but they found a way to. Out of character question: is it common knowledge? The doc you sent us is common knowledge, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm being very precise in my language. The heroes, those who are heralded at least as the heroes who defeated Dural and stuff, sent the Godstone away. It's assumed destroyed. Sort of. It can. Something like that could be.
So the
And-
lodestone, you have no idea?
The what?
Did you witness its destruction?
I was like 8.
No one did.
Ah, I forget.
Yeah, I was 8 and too busy picking up the pieces of my life.
I mean, even people who are older didn't witness it themselves.
No,
Right.
but there are those of us who remember the brutality experienced, if that helps you at all.
I suppose the destruction of an artifact like that, it makes a little bit more sense.
I mean, Dural was defacing our world for years before they finally took him out or whatever, but so the story goes, the Godstone pulled the world towards it, making mountains and hills inversed in the earth, making deep chasms and stuff. And then it was disappeared. Ley lines were broken. Magic kind of fucked. There's earthquakes and fires and natural disasters all across the world for a long time. Did you not have that? Was that kind of stuff felt here as well? I mean, I know your son looks kind of weird.
Nothing like that.
new city was made, old treaties died, and new things were formed. Currently, the world started getting fucked again, and that's why we were sent out. Us and some other people, other groups of people were sent out to try and figure out what was going on, and that's what led us here.
So you were sent after the lodestone.
God, I hope not. If we're lucky, that thing is dead and gone for good. I hope it's gone. You think it could have survived?
Well, shards of it, perhaps. Destroying a magical artifact is not easy. That is why usually they are sealed. I suppose the shockwave from its destruction could cause a disjunction on the scale we've experienced. But none of it would explain our sun, or why your world faces peril again.
Could one... Never mind. Could something have been coming through? Do you know of any... I mean, obviously you're under great threats here, but we've gotten some, or we've heard some rumors that Dural may have potentially been fearing something coming through. We don't know where, what, or from whatever plane, but it's...
An enemy threatening the Dural. Nothing we'd have heard of outside of your alliance.
This was something extreme. Apparently it might have had something to do with him hoarding orange stones.
I suppose if anyone would know, it would be your people, would it not?
I doubt it. Most people seem happy enough to bury the past and try to move on.
Sounds like they are on a path to repeat the same mistakes.
They call it recovery. But I agree with you. Listen, that's about all I know. I admit I sort of avoided tales of this such thing growing up. Does anyone else have anything to add?
Frank, what do you make all of this?
Are you not talking in Sylvan?
No, yeah, I'm talking to Frank now because I'm getting
I'm
bored
guessing that
listening to Sylvan.
I'm guessing we've switched back from Sylvan to Common as soon as we started talking about the Cataclysm. You
Okay.
jerks.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna ask him what he thinks about all of this, at least what he understood.
I wasn't really actually prepared to answer the shit. I don't know when you just assume you're switching languages when you don't specify.
You are such a dick.
Actually, Frank had assumed that you hadn't changed language, wasn't paying attention to the conversation.
Yeah.
We were talking about what happened after before
like-
and after the Cataclysm.
He was just sitting in the back, exchanging
I know what
notes
you
with
said. I'm
the
just
rest.
That's fine. Frank is just nodding, probably.
Hey Frank, what do you make of this? Frank just nods.
Nods.
I barely understood half of it. There you go.
Frank's
Yeah,
helmet
that's
clinks
good.
up and he wakes.
Eric, do you know anything more? I mean, you are kind of cozy with the princess, aren't you?
Wow.
Oh,
He looks at you real
Ooh.
confused. Not really part of any political games,
Do you know history? Fuck's
much
sake.
as everyone else.
And your version of it is
Well,
similar.
33 years ago, we fought a fight. The heroes won. And the Ironstone swallowed half the earth. And then rose some factions, and there was war again.
It's about the same then.
spitting straight facts.
Look, a lot of people don't want, in my world, I don't know if it's the same here, don't want to acknowledge what happened because a lot of us are still feeling the loss from before. A lot of lives were destroyed. But if what happened to the Godstone had effects across every plane, then that's really worrying.
I don't understand these matters. But what if it's been so powerful that during its destruction, like, it has been shattered into shards and they basically flew all over the place into different planes and stuff and are causing trouble now?
What was it that she was...
I'd say we would have seen such a phenomenon, at least in the Feywild. We've been monitoring closely whenever someone arrives and he shoots all of you a glance.
What was it exactly the story said? She was trying to banish it or something. To where it would never be found again? Something like that. I don't know if she was actually supposed to destroy it.
Well,
Draco, do you know any
part
of
of
these
me
stories?
wonders who even wrote that story.
Not us. We were too busy.
I mean, everyone who was there on the field that day, weren't they all swallowed?
There were there... I don't even know if there were bodies. Look, I was a child. And my tribe was long out of touch with people for the next 5-10 years as we rebuilt from the destruction of our own people, so...
I don't think there were any people left.
Draco, do you know any of these stories?
I didn't really do political science.
What?
Never took my interest. I don't know it.
As you call Draco by his name,
Oh no.
Oh fuck! There you go.
one of the guards by the entrance turns his head around for a second and then looks back. You see it only out of the corner of your eye, but it was kind of odd.
I'm gonna put a protective arm around Draco's shoulders.
None
I
of
have
the
a
other
passive
elves
perception of 9.
seem
I did
to
not notice.
react. Yeah.
It's fine. We're
Neither
just
the
letting me put
commander nor the
protective arm
older
around you.
elf in front of you reacted in any way.
Okay, good. Well, now Draco can do with Rune just casually.
Does
reaches
that
the
elf
arm
look
over.
different from the others?
What's an arm around Draco?
No,
Sorry, I
he
don't.
looks like all of the rest.
It's alright, Draco.
Draco flinches.
Rune's just gonna keep an arm around your shoulder. Unless you're being really weird about it.
He flinches, but he doesn't push you off.
Well, it's fine then. It's fine. You don't need to. Rune will kind of give you a "I'll explain later" look.
You said the root of law is currently held by one of yours, right? Oh,
The root of Ardor belongs to Karis. The root of law belongs to the Univar, like always. They are unparalleled in their wisdom.
of course.
Does Dolarian know any of those names?
It depends on whether or not Telsa would have told him about the hierarchical structure of the
Okay,
Feywild.
so it's not like something that is
Yeah.
like universally known. It's more very
She
specific
probably
thing
got
to you.
drunk one night and ranted
Yeah.
to you about it.
So
Yeah,
what
okay.
you
I just
know
wanted to
is
know if that's like common knowledge or if I'm just
there
missing something.
are
here.
3 roots governing the at least elvish civilization in the Feywild.
Mhm.
And these 3 roots are usually elected from the 5 houses,
Okay, so
which
those
are
names are
great
from the
houses that
houses. Okay.
are
Mhm.
larger families of the Feywild and influential families. There are a lot of houses, but these 5 ones are the greatest, usually laying claim to a large portion of the Feywild.
So, what about the root of lore? Did it change?
No. Varna has been here since before the storm, and I suppose I'd wager she'll be there long after.
Right. Which house is she?
Univar.
Right. Wait. So they hold 2 houses. 2 roots.
No, the root of Ardor is one of ours. It's Tidon. Tidon Caris Patraera. The root of permanence currently held by Yor
Oh.
Vil Maybrick,
Right.
and the root of law, Varna.
Oh no. Okay. I
So
got it
many
wrong,
names.
Sorry. I thought it was root of law.
No, it's lore.
Okay.
Lore.
Lore.
Yarr.
Like thick accent.
Yar.
It's your thick accents, bro.
Lore.
Buy me a Krabby Patty.
No, it sounds
Yarr.
like Dory.
The
Like,
root of Lore.
Lorelei.
who the fuck's Lori?
It's Laurel or Yanny.
It's Larissa.
Fuck off.
Okay.
To be fair, I also thought he was saying law until you said lore, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Lawman. There's no need to film that.
Stop. I will leave you to the guard that took an interest. You'll be kidnapped.
It's not.
Well, we should probably get going then.
Speaking of which, can I subtly out the corner of my eye like look at the guard who was taking an interest after Draco, like just see where in the room he is.
Yeah, what's that fucker
He's
up
by
to?
the entrance, by the opening to the tent. He must have heard it just on the edge of his perception.
I'm gonna casually ask so you said we'll be heading out with you and your men. Do you mind introducing people?
Oh, nice.
I see no reason to. They are all simply soldiers,
Oof.
oaken knights, oaken spears of Karis.
Is it wrong to get to know people here?
No. What you want to spend your time with is your own prerogative, I suppose. But we are on a tight schedule. We are in the middle of a war.
Well, are we going to be walking for a while, right? We could talk to them on the road.
Yes, you, as I said, may spend your time as you wish.
That's alright, Draco.
Just try not to stray too far. People get lost easily in the Feywild.
We're just still gonna keep that protective arm around Draco.
Oh.
Still hasn't explained it yet, but just keep an arm around his buddy. An arm around her buddy. Whatever we choose to do, just for fair warning, I just noticed the time. I have an hour.
Mhm.
Sorry.
I want to memorize that guy who turned around when Draco's name was said.
Okay.
To remember and speak to him later on.
Only someone had keen mind.
Well, I didn't. Both the people with keen mind also have passive perceptions of 9.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's only one person with it.
Something.
that's a fair point.
Until Melody is back, okay?
Yeah, you're right. Until
Yes.
Melody is revived.
She's not coming back.
Yes, she is. Shut up.
Right.